Thank you very much for these kind words, Vicky, and I'm delighted that I could even make it on my own from that chair to here, because I'm probably the oldest, at least the oldest internet company in this room. We're a dinosaur, and we can barely walk anymore, but we're still standing up firmly for the rights of internet users. So I will address your questions, Vicky, with great pleasure. But I would just want to take you back about, not 20 years, because that's when eBay was established in 1995, and there are very few companies on the internet alive today that can say that. There is a competitor that can say the same, but I don't like to talk about them. But anyway, about 15 years ago, you remember eBay in the distant past was the auction site, where people could sell their stamp collection or their cigar label collections, and they would start with 99 cents, and they would hope they would get $999.99 for it, or euros or whatever. So the auction platform. And in France, the Association of Auction House Commissaires had the brilliant idea of starting court proceedings against eBay, saying, oh, well, actually, eBay, since you have this auction-style model of selling things or having your users sell online, you're like an auction house, and the rules for auction houses should therefore apply to you. So you're a Sotheby's or a Christie's online, and here comes a pack of rules, very strict, that apply to your platform. And I can tell you that if they had gain de cause, if they'd won their case, and it took years for this case to be judged in final at the final level within the court. Fabienne, actually, who used to work for eBay before she made a major mistake, actually worked on the case herself. But if they had won, I think the Allegros of this world and many other platforms in Europe would not even have existed. They would not even have bothered to start their new and innovative business models, because archaic, very strict sets of rules would have applied to them. And this was like 10, 15 years ago. And I think we're at a crossroads today. It's happening again. It really is happening again. eBay and some other platforms back in the 90s were those Ubers and those Airbnbs that you have today. And there was like this 10-year gap, 15-year gap actually. And that gap was called the e-commerce directive. That really gave us, and all the other platforms that were invented on the way in that period, the oxygen and the framework with enough flexibility, future-proof as it was, to start to test, to grow, to scale, and to become what those platforms are today. Not only eBay, but many, many others who started from really small. And we're now again at a phase where there is this whole new generation, and as an old guy from an old platform, we're super excited about that, because we used to be disruptors, and it's like, oh, yeah, remember when we did all those cheeky things? And now they are doing it, and they're not only getting away with it, but they're creating this true inclusive economy that allows big and small, private and semi-professional and almost professional and then professional to participate in the economy within a regulatory framework where there is enough headroom from a regulatory perspective to do that. And so I really join the previous speakers, including Vicky as well, that warn against trying to take the existing often 20th century regulations of the incumbent sectors and just apply them blindly to the new and upcoming innovators and disruptors. Because I think this Commission and this Parliament is really at that juncture. And if people 10, 15 years ago, so 3-4 commissions ago, would have actually done what the commissaire priseur of France would have liked them to do, they would feel really stupid today. So the question is, do we really want to feel stupid in 15 years when we look back and we've totally destroyed the Ubers, the BlaBlaCars, and the Airbnbs of today, and all the offsprings that will come? So taking that back to the regulatory environment and to Vicky's question as well, it's all about the small guy. and the small guy that gets a chance to be involved in the economy. And to me, by the way, that's the key for Europe to get out of the challenging economic situation that we have today, like many other regions outside the EU and the world are doing. So what we need to do is give them that opportunity from a regulatory perspective to grow. And that means, and it's been said before, but I'd love to repeat it once more, we need to have result-oriented regulatory environment, not prescriptive, and definitely technology neutral, because innovation is so terribly fast that whatever you regulate today is completely obsolete tomorrow. It's been said before, but it needs to be repeated over and over again. And then second, I think competition law has a role to play, and I join the previous speaker saying that preliminary rulings or injunctions awaiting the final outcome in the main proceedings are often extremely helpful. They're helpful in different circumstances. They should be very helpful in competition enforcement as well, because we need competition enforcement to be much faster than it is today. You can't have, whatever you may think of the Google case that's before DG Comp today, you can't have a similar scenario as we had with Microsoft before. 10 years before you get a final answer on whether it was right or wrong what they were doing. Many of the companies that filed complaints like 5 years ago or 6 years ago will not exist anymore at the end of those 10 years. And they may find out once they're bankrupt and gone that they would have been right, or not, who knows. So fast enforcement of competition rules. And then big care with new regulations. And then on last point on your question, Vicky, as it is all about the small guy, it's not only VAT. I would like to repeat here what very endearingly one of the eBay sellers last week at a DG Grow workshop on B2B and online, when asked, what is your main problem? Well, I'm selling small electronic little cars, remote controlled toy cars. She was based in Germany. And for electronic waste, I now need to register in every single EU member state to which I would like to sell, and that will cost me 40,000 euros. And I can't do it myself. I'm small. I don't have a team to do it, so I need to pay someone, and that someone has a monopoly position that helps you in registering everywhere, so it's unaffordable. Please do something about it. And I know the Commission and the Parliament would not necessarily in favor, so we need to look at the member states as well here as the biggest culprits. And then when she was asked at the end of the workshop, is there anything else that you would like to add? She said, yeah, could you please review the Electronic Waste Directive, because that's really a problem. So that's a major issue. It symbolizes rules in the EU that are totally linked to the member state, and where the member state actually keeps so much power that it totally destroys that cross-border trade that we so much want to see from the online environment. And then with the VAT, it's exactly the same. As soon as you start to scale and you want to sell cross-border, you have to register for VAT in your country of destination. Why is it that if people come to your brick and mortar shop in the high street in Munich, they all pay the same German VAT when they buy something from your shop? And why is it that if from that shop you set up a platform and you also sell cross-border, that you suddenly have to start paying VAT in the UK according to the UK level, in France according to France, in Malta according to the Maltese level, and you have to set up a VAT registration as soon as you go over a certain limit? It creates a huge hurdle for these people. Maybe at least a one-stop shop approach would help them if we can't go for a country of origin and we want to stick to country of destination. But it's a major hurdle, which for the moment they don't have in the United States, because if you're an SME and you sell from one state of the United States to other states where all the sales taxes are different, you don't have to pay any sales tax. So there's no problem. It's a dream we have for Europe, but I'm not sure we'll get the Council to approve that. But anyway, on that optimistic, upbeat and hopeful note, Many thanks for your attention, and please support the disruptive industry, because they're the eBays of 10 years down the line, employing many, many people.